Are y'all ready for part 2 of the sublimation mistakes to avoid as a beginner? Well, if you are, make sure you go and grab your paper and pen because today is part 2, y'all. And I'm super excited to bring part 2 to you. If you did not see part 1, pause this video, put it on pause, go back and watch part 1 because you don't want to miss part 1. Then come back and watch part 2. All right, are you ready to learn? Because I'm ready to teach. So let's go ahead and get into the video. Hey everyone, this is Ieasha of Ieasha Designed It, and welcome back, y'all. I am super excited, so let me go ahead and say happy Monday. Today is Monday, and I'm super excited to be bringing this part 2 to you. Remember, this is sublimation mistakes to avoid as a beginner. Now, one thing I want to tell you before I get into what I'm about to talk about is that mistakes is going to happen. Okay, it's going to happen, but I'm just trying to let you know the mistakes that you can avoid. All right. So when I was talking about the tape and taping your tumbler and how I was showing you how I made a mistake and did this right here, just by watching this video, you pausing it, going back and looking at it when you get ready to do your tumblers and going back and watching some of my other videos when I did the tumblers, then that should be able to help you to avoid some of these mistakes. Now, it's not going to 100% stop mistakes. And I want to make sure I tell you that because I don't want you to make a mistake and then you say, oh, I made a mistake and give up. You know what? We can't give up. We cannot give up because there's somebody out there who's waiting on us and what we have to offer. So go ahead and talk about number 5. Now, remember, I wrote some things down, so I'm going to be looking down. But this number 5 is to always remember to mirror your design. Now, y'all, when I first started, I had some problems with this because I messed up a lot of sublimation paper because I did not mirror my design. Now, if you're like me, I design in Canva. I do a lot of my own designs and I do them in Canva. So Canva have a way that you can flip your design before you send it to the printer. Also, you can just, if you do your designs in Canva like I do, you can also send your, when you get ready to print your design on your printer, you can mirror your design there, you know, if that's better for you. Because I used to flip mine and do it in Canva, but then I started to do it on my, before I print my design out on my printer. So either way is okay. Just do not forget to mirror your image. All right, so one thing you can do when it comes to, when we talked about to set up your printer, the first thing you can do when you start to set up your printer is go ahead and put your printer settings on mirror. Now, this is only if you know that majority of your sublimation designs, when you print it, is going to be mirror print because sometimes your designs do not even need to be mirrored. Okay, we're going to talk about the designs that don't need to be mirrored. So some of the designs don't need to be mirrored will be like, just say for instance, you are sublimating on a glass cutting board, glass, because if you sublimate on one side of the glass, it's going to automatically show up on the other side. Okay, so that's something you do not have to mirror. But just say for instance, you're doing a t-shirt, or you're doing a tumbler, you will need to mirror those images because if not, then it's not going to come out right. So just make sure that when you set up your printer setting, you go ahead and you set it to mirror image. If you know you're going to be doing a lot of images where your images or designs need to be mirrored. If not, then you need to make sure that you mirror your image on each design. Normally what I do, I go ahead and mirror my image on each design because I do a lot of images that need to be mirrored. And I also do some that do not need to be mirrored. So I don't want to set my printer settings on mirror and I forget to take it off because sometimes you will forget. That's why I told you before, mistakes will happen, but I'm just telling you about ways to avoid it. Okay, now things can be avoided, but that doesn't mean that's not 100% going to happen. Okay, so just make sure you know that. And like I said before, when it happened, don't get discouraged, y'all, because we can't give up. We got to keep on pushing, got to keep on moving. Sometimes you may feel like you want to give up, but you can't. You can take a break. Take a break. Take a breather. Go outside, get your little air. Go on vacation, do what you got to do. But you got to come back and be ready to go back at it because we're not going to be defeated, okay? So I just want to let you know that. So when you setting up your printer, make sure you, if you're doing a lot of designs that need mirrored, you can go ahead and put the mirror, put it on mirror, so that when you print out your designs, then every design will be mirrored. But if you're not going to mirror every design, then you may just want to go in each time when you get ready to do your designs and mirror it yourself, like I do myself. Okay. All right. So I just want to make sure that I am not missing anything. All right. All right, so now we're about to go into something that, y'all, we can't even do sublimation if we do not have this. And what is it? Heat presses or a heat source. Okay. Number one mistake we as crafters make is not wearing our heat gloves. I want to go ahead and start off with that, because if you have a heat press or a heat source, guess what? These heat presses, the temperature can get up to 400 degrees and higher. And y'all know what? Let me tell you something. Let me tell you, I got something to show you. Look, can you see this? Look at that right there. Let me see. It's another one somewhere. Let's see. Can you see that? Yes. It has gotten me plenty of times, because if you see me on my videos, y'all, sometimes I don't even wear my heat gloves. But don't be like me, okay? Don't be like me. I'm telling you to wear your heat gloves, because that is going to protect your hands, and it's going to protect all this, all right? So make sure you wear your heat gloves. Let me show you what a heat glove look like. I have them right here. I have everything so that I can show you, okay? So here's the heat gloves, just like this. This is what you want to wear. Now, there are many different heat gloves that you can get, okay? Remember, I have links to the items that I'm talking about, that I talked about in part 1. Actually, everything that I talk about in my videos, there's a link. So make sure you go and purchase these items, because y'all, when it comes to sublimation, these are the things that you're going to need, okay? You're going to need these things. All right, so now we done talked about the heat gloves. Now, another thing that I want to tell you about too is always make sure you let your heat press heat up fully. So just say, for instance, you're sublimating a t-shirt. I'm going to talk about t-shirts. You're sublimating a t-shirt, and the temperature is 400 degrees for 60 seconds, because majority of them are. Okay, you go ahead and you just say, you know what? I'm tired of waiting. I'm going to go ahead and heat press at 350 degrees. Okay, so just say, for instance, you do that. Now, you could potentially mess up your design, because if it says 400 degrees, a lot of times if you go ahead and sublimate that or put that heat on it, it's either one, it's not going to sublimate completely, you know, it's not going to be vibrant, and it's not going to be a complete you know, when you get ready to put it on your shirt, okay, it's going to be there, but it may be a little faded, you know, faded. It's not going to be a full image. So you just make sure that you let everything heat up, because you want to make sure that your design is vibrant and it's absolutely beautiful, okay? All right, so let me go. Oh, one thing I want to tell you about that, I've done it myself. Sometimes I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and heat this up. My heat press, sometimes, you know, a lot of times heat presses are slow about heating up, but that's because it's trying to get to that temperature, especially if you have it on 400 degrees. Just like an oven, if you're cooking, an oven in the kitchen, sometimes it takes time to heat it up. You know, great things take time, right? So it's been a lot of times I have went ahead and did my designs, and it might have been at 385, or it might have been at, like I told you, 350, and I'm like, I don't want to wait any longer. And I press that shirt, y'all, and it's messed up. It's messed up, or it doesn't look as vibrant as I wanted, like I was telling you before. All right, so let's go ahead and move on. Okay, especially if you have a lot of t-shirts. Now, always make sure you know the time and temperature. Know the time and temperature of your t-shirts, your tumblers, your keychains. Let's see, whatever, coasters, whatever it is that you are making, because, you know, just say, for instance, I'm going back to the t-shirts. The t-shirts may be 400 degrees for 60 seconds. Just say, for instance, you're not sure and you put it on 300 degrees for 60 seconds. Now, again, then, you know, when you do that, then it's not fully 400 degrees. So you could potentially mess up your design, your t-shirt, or whatever it may be, your coaster, whatever it is that you're making, because now the temperature is not up to where it should be in order to heat your t-shirt up to the desired, you know, temperature, and it may not be as vibrant. So again, you're wasting money, because you may have to start over. So just make sure you know your time and temperature. Check out my store. Remember, if you have not got your Sublimation for Beginners ebook that I have made, y'all, I'm super excited about this ebook. Make sure you go and grab your ebook. What y'all waiting on? go and hit the link in the description box, because this sublimation ebook is a game changer. If you have had any questions about sublimation, this ebook is going to answer your questions, okay? So make sure you go and grab your ebook today. Also on there, I have a prayer journal. Make sure you go and grab your prayer journal also, because y'all, we need these prayers, right? Now, it's just some blank pages, but guess what? This prayer journal, this journal is for you to put beside your bed so that you can write down any thoughts that you may have through the nights. It can help you to write down different things that you may want to do. I said write down your visions, whatever it is that God has put on your heart, whatever it is that you believe in to do in life, whatever it is, write those things down, because the Bible said write the vision and make it plain, okay? We got to write that vision down, because a lot of times, y'all, I have a lot of journals, notebooks, and things that I have written my things down in, because a lot of times you don't remember things, or God may put something on your heart for you to make or to do that's completely unique, and you may forget about it. But if you get up and write it down, then guess what? You can go back and look at it and be like, okay, all right, God, let's do this. So make sure you go and grab that also, okay? So make sure you go and check the links in the description box and go on and purchase these items, y'all. I'm telling you, it's a game changer for you. All right, so let's go ahead and get back into the heat presses, or the heat source. All right, so okay, so also, if you don't let it heat up fully, it could cause ghosting. Again, ghosting is, when it's kind of faded looking, those images. But remember, you want it to look a full design, full vibrant design. So that's why you let it heat up completely. All right, so another thing, if you don't set your temperature to the right temperature, just say, for instance, the temperature is 400 degrees for 60 seconds, and you may say, okay, well, I'm going up to 450. Okay, you go up to 450, you have potential to burn your design. You have a potential to burn it. That goes for a tumbler. That goes for t-shirts. That goes for coasters. That goes for keychains. That goes for anything that you are doing. You do not want to burn those designs, because now, again, you have to start over. So just say, for instance, that's your last tumbler, and you have to make a tumbler for a customer. Now you burnt your tumbler, or you burnt your t-shirt. So now what you have to do, you have to go buy some more tumblers, and you have to buy some more t-shirts. So just always make sure that you know the time and temperature. Let me tell you a little something also, because most of these t-shirts and tumblers will come with a time and temp. But sometimes you have to be careful of that also, because I had one time, and I think the temperature was like 350 for, I think they said 60 seconds, and I went and put it on that time, and it did, just like I was telling you, it wasn't vibrant. It was like a little ghosting on it. So I had to remember that, okay, just because they said it's 350 for 60 seconds doesn't always mean that it's 350 for 60 seconds, because remember, all heat presses are different. So I have a Better Sub 15 by 15 heat press, which I absolutely love, y'all. I absolutely love this heat press. And this heat press is in the store. So make sure you go and check it out. This heat press is amazing. But there's other heat presses also. We all have different heat presses. Heat presses are just like people. They're unique, and they do their own thing. So you can't just go by, okay, this person got this, and they doing 400. Yours may be 350. So it just depends on you knowing your heat press, getting to know your heat press. Just say your heat press is new. You have to get to know your heat press. You have to know if it gets too hot, or if it gets too or not hot enough. Therefore, you can adjust your time and temp. Okay. So let's move on. Remember, do not open your heat press up before the time. That's another one, y'all. That's a biggie. And this one, like I said, everything that I'm telling you here, I have done. Okay. There's time we get impatient again, and we want to see what the design look like. You might open it up a little bit, be like, "Ooh, let me just take a little peeky peek." Okay, you open it up and look at it, and it's not fully vibrant, or the full design is not on there. So now you've kind of messed it up. Even though you can go ahead and close it back and see if it go ahead and finish pressing, which sometime it will, sometime it won't. So that, therefore you just taking a chance on it. But try your best to not open it. All right, let's avoid those mistakes. Do not open your heat press before the time. So if it says 60 seconds, wait 60 seconds and go ahead and open it then. Okay. But again, you have to know your heat press. All right. So, Another thing too, we want to make sure that you have firm pressure. And I'm going to show you on my heat press when I'm talking about firm pressure. If you saw a couple of my videos before, when you see me adjusting the knob on the top of my heat press, that's when I'm adjusting the firmness of my heat press. Now, one thing about it, you don't want your heat press, you don't want it too firm. If you're doing a t-shirt as well as a tumbler, if you have a tumbler press, and you don't want it firm enough, you don't want to get it, you don't want it too firm, and you don't want it to be where it's not firm enough, because if it's not firm enough, it's not going to press the design down on your shirt. Therefore, the ink is not going to go into the fabrics of the t-shirt, okay? And if you have it too firm, then y'all, I'm telling you, I've been there with it, with the too firm. That thing is so hard to open it. If it's already at 60 seconds, they're trying to get you to go ahead and open it. Child, sometimes you're going to go over to probably 70 seconds if you can't get that heat press open. So just be careful, and again, avoid these mistakes. Now, again, like I said, mistakes is going to happen, but you have to learn how to avoid them. Therefore, you won't have to waste so much material, okay? All right, y'all, so what I want to do, I want to show you what I'm talking about when I said the pressure on your heat press. So this is what I'm talking about right here. This is the knob that you use to adjust the pressure on your heat press. Now, to my knowing, all heat presses have a knob at the top. So what you do in order to get your firmness, you either take it to the right to make it firm and take it back to the, you take it to the left to get it firm, and you bring it back to the right to make it so that it's not so firm. So let me show you on a t-shirt what I'm talking about. All right, y'all, so I just have a t-shirt right here. The machine is not on, so I'm just going to show you what I'm talking about. So when you get ready to take your heat press and push it down, you see how firm this is? This is so firm that I can't even push it down. You see, I am trying to push it, and it's not pushing down. This is too hard. So I need to let it up some because that's too firm. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go here, and I'm going to take it back to the right. Okay, now let's try this one. Let's see how this works. All right, so you see I loosen it up some, and you see it's firm. And you see the heat press closes. Do you see here? That top plate right there, you see how the top plate is on my t-shirt? That's what you want. You want that to be on your t-shirt so that when you heat your design will be heated to the fabrics of the t-shirt. Okay? Now let me show you what you don't want. Let's try it where it's just too loose. Okay, now y'all see how I'm doing here. You see my handle. This is my t-shirt. So watch this. Now you see how I did that? That was not firm enough because I can just, look how that is. You see how I can just open it and close it? You don't want it that firm. You want to have a little firmness to it. Now let's see. Do you see how my top plate is? Do you see my top plate is not all the way down on my t-shirt? It's up just a little bit, if you can see. Let me see if I can point to it. Do you see right here? Okay. You see how it's not all the way down? You do not want that. I just showed you how when you have a really good firm for your heat press, and when you have one that is, it's too loose. You don't need it to be loose, and you don't need it to be too firm. You need it to be where it needs to be in order to press that design onto to the shirt, okay? You need it to be right there in the middle. You don't need it to be too much or too little. Okay, so let me go ahead and move on. I talked to you about the heat presses, so you can use just a regular heat press. You remember I told you when I first started out, I was using like a 9x9 or 9x12. That was the really small heat press, but that's what I had to use at the time. So wherever you are, use what you have, okay? I moved up to this 15x15 heat press. Again, there's many heat presses. out there, so make sure you do your research to see which one works for you in your business. I also, in the link that I was telling you about, I have this 15 by 15 Better Sub heat press on it. I also have the 9, I think it was like a 9 by 9 or 9 by 12 heat press that I first started out with. Because, hey, you got to start somewhere. And remember, when you start, these are the things that you need to avoid, the mistakes you need to avoid, okay? I also have another heat press that you can use if you have to. And this is the Easy Press, okay? Can you see this? This is the Cricut Easy Press. Now, the Easy Press is another heat source that you can use also. If you would like, okay? And the Easy Presses come in different sizes also. That is one of the bigger sizes. They also have a smaller size, but either one will work fine, okay? All right, so another thing that I want to talk about now, I actually added this into the heat presses, but this is another one that I want to talk about, is that when you have a sublimation printer, a converted sublimation printer, like I said, I use the Epsons. I can't speak of any other sublimation printer because I haven't used it, but I can speak of the Epson printers that you convert over to sublimation. You have to make sure that you do a print. Try your best to do a daily print if you can. And what I mean by daily print, make sure you print something on sublimation paper so that you can use your ink, so that your ink would just not, won't just be sitting inside of your printer. Now, I have my Epson ET 2760 that I started off with, and I have it over there. I haven't used that printer since my husband and my daughter bought me this new Epson ET 8550 that I have. So I know the ink have been sitting in there for a while since I got this one. And like I said, I got this one for Christmas last year. So make sure you just don't have your printer just sitting there, especially if you're going to use it. I'm not using my ET 2760 right now because I have the 8550. But I do have to make sure I do a daily print, or if you don't do it daily, make sure you at least try to print something at least once a week. Because that happened to me when I was using my ET 2760 printer. I think my printer had sat up for probably about, I think it had sat up for maybe a month, maybe 2 weeks. I'm not sure. I can't remember. But when I went to print, it did something. It wasn't printing the way it should. So I had to go in there and do the print cleaning and do all that stuff. So that's extra work that you don't want to have to do when you can just go ahead and just do a daily print if you want, or you can do a weekly print. Just don't let it sit for too long, all right? Because you don't want that ink just sitting there. All right, so let's see. All right, y'all. So we're about to move into something totally different. And again, you can't do sublimation without this one either. So in sublimation, you have a lot of things that you can't do sublimation unless you have this or that. So the other one is sublimation blanks. You cannot do sublimation without sublimation blanks. So I call it sublimation blanks. Some people may call it substrates or whatever it may be. Many beginners do not know what sublimation tumblers, t-shirt, keychains, etc. are called, but it is called sublimation blanks or substrates. So just say for instance, you are listening to, okay, so just say for instance, you are listening to someone and they may say, oh, I'm using my sublimation blank, or I'm using my sublimation substrate. Okay, it's the same thing. I just call it a sublimation blank. That's what I started off calling it, so that's what I continue to call it. But it's the same thing. It's pretty much the same thing. Sublimation blanks are anything that can be sublimated on, such as t-shirts, hoodies, tote bags, tumblers, keychains, coasters. I can go on and on, okay? So you kind of get what I'm saying. Those are sublimation blanks and sublimation substrates. All right, so now in order for it to be a sublimation blank or something that you can sublimate on, remember it have to have a sublimation coating. So just say for instance you get, I'm going to show you. Let me show you, y'all. Okay, so we're going to talk about these sublimation coasters. Okay, so let's look at this coaster here. This coaster have a sublimation coating on it. Okay, have a sublimation coating on it. Can you see that? You see how shiny it is? Okay, do you see that? Now on the back, it's more of a dull, the way it feels on the back and look. but this is a sublimation coating. Now you can do sublimation on these, okay? All right, another thing that you can do sublimation on is sublimation tumblers. Do you see how this tumbler looks, how shiny it is? There's a sublimation coating on this tumbler. This is a blank tumbler or substrate. So you can sublimate on this. There are some things that you're not able to sublimate on. You can't sublimate on anything that does not have a sublimation coating on it, okay? You have to make sure you have a sublimation coating. And sometimes you have to be careful because some things will say it's sublimation friendly and it's not. So you have to be careful. Another thing that you can use are these keychains, okay? These keychains right here. Now you can't see it because it has this blue protective film on it. But when you get something like this, just say you want to do keychains, you have to remove this blue protective coating, because some people think that they sublimate on this. But if you sublimate on this coating, of course, it's not going to take. It's going to take on the protective film, but not on the actual keychain. So make sure you move that. But once you remove this, then you will see what I'm talking about the sublimation coating that's on here. And you can sublimate on these keychains. Another thing that you can sublimate on are t-shirts or hoodies. Now, if you sublimate on the t-shirt, it has to be at least 50% polyester. So you can sublimate on 50-50 blend, or you can sublimate on 100% polyester. I used to do the 50-50 blends because, like I told you before, I used to use Gildan, which I still love Gildan. Now, I really do. I still love Gildan because Gildan is a great brand. But I have moved on, let me say, to doing the 100% polyester shirts, and now I have moved into using the jerseys, okay? The jerseys shirts. Now, I also do hoodies because, y'all, I love me a good hoodie. Here in Alabama, it's still a little warm. As you can see outside, so I think today is Monday. It's like 80-some degrees here, but every now and then it get a little cool here. So I have hoodies, okay? And this one is a jerseys hoodie, and it is, let me see, y'all. I want to show y'all. What is this? This one is, okay, this one is a 50-50 blend. This one is 50% cotton, and I think it's 50% cotton and 50%, so it's a 50-50 blend also. Okay, this is the hoodie. I do have 100% polyester jerseys when it comes to the t-shirt. I also use the Gildan 50-50 hoodies, which are absolutely amazing also. So, like I said, this is the jerseys. When it comes to tote bags, let me put that over there. When it comes to tote bags, again, you have to have the polyester. The polyester one. Now, this is the polyester one. This is the same one that I showed you before that I messed up with this one, but I showed you the back because there's nothing on the back. But this is a polyester right here, okay? And in order to know if it's polyester, sometimes you can, if you're in the store, you can look. Sometimes it have the little tags on the inside that tell you if it's polyester or cotton or whatever it is. And sometimes if you know the difference, you can feel it and you can tell if it's polyester or not. So make sure you know the difference, because if not, you will spend more money having to go back and redo everything. All right. So another thing that you need to do when it comes to the t-shirts, the hoodies, the tumblers, pretty much everything that you do when it comes to sublimation, y'all, you have to measure it. You have to measure out your t-shirts, your tumblers, or whatever. Because if you don't, then y'all, I have messed up a lot of coasters by just going from measuring from side to side and up and down. But when you are doing coasters, when you're doing coasters, especially like coasters or keychains, make sure you make your design bigger so that it will fit the entire coaster or the entire keychain. Because if not, then you will have that white space around it. And if you like the white space, then that's great, okay? Some people like that. But if you don't, then make sure you make your designs bigger. And when you're measuring your t-shirts, I use this measuring tape right here. This is a pink one. It comes in different colors. And I just go from left to right. You go from side to side, and you go from up and down, and you get your accurate measurements. And the same with the tumblers. You just wrap it around the tumbler, and you get your measurements. Normally for a 20-ounce sublimation tumbler, it's around 9.8. So when it comes to the tumblers, you just take your tape measure, and you just wrap it around just like this, okay? And you can get your measurement where it starts like that, and you can take it and go from top of the lip on your tumbler to the bottom, and that will be your measurement, okay? You want to make sure you get that. And the same when it comes to hoodies and t-shirts. Make sure you always learn everything that you can learn before you start in sublimation, again, so that you will know if sublimation is for you. When you want to get in sublimation, practice on tumblers, practice on t-shirts, practice on coasters. Now, what I would tell you, like I told you before, don't come into sublimation doing 30 things, okay, at one time, because you will get frustrated. I know I did. I was trying to do everything, y'all. So if you know you want to do t-shirts, concentrate on t-shirts. Maybe you want to do tumblers, concentrate on tumblers. If you want to do coasters or keychains, concentrate on that. Or maybe you want to do t-shirts and tumblers. Now, that's two things that you can do that go hand in hand, all right? You can do like a bundle when it comes to that. That's how I do, y'all. And it's great when you do that. But just make sure you don't try to do t-shirt, tumbler, keychain, coasters, everything in the book, because after a while, especially if you're like me, you're a working parent, your wife, your mom, you got a lot of things on your plate, you got some other things that you're doing, then you will get frustrated, and sometimes you'll be want to quit. But it's not that you don't need to quit, because it's just you got too much stuff on your plate. You're trying to do too much. So just take it one step at a time. And like I said, this is sublimation mistakes to avoid as a beginner. So remember to avoid a lot of these mistakes. Now, again, like I told you before, mistakes gonna happen. That's why you can't give up. Just try to avoid them, and try to avoid the costly mistakes, because some of these going to cost a lot of money if you make these mistakes, okay? If you're not learning, then you're not growing. This is what we do. We learn and we grow together. So I love to teach you all about all the things that I know, and I'm here to teach you. I'm here to show you the mistakes not to make. Okay, the mistakes not to make, and just keep going no matter what you feel like, because a lot of times when you feel like quitting, those are just emotions. Emotions come and emotions go. But you know what? We're here to be a blessing to other people. That's what you have to always put in your mind, and just know within yourself that you can do it. You don't have to wait on somebody else to tell you, oh, you can do that. You can. No, put it in your own mind that you can do it. And once you put in your own mind that you can do it, go for it. Go for it. Whatever that is, go for it, because I believe in you. I believe in you. You just have to believe in yourself, okay? I always tell you that. You have to believe in yourself and know what you can do. Y'all, I went over a lot of material. I did. I had part 1, and this is part 2. So that you can get started sublimating. I want to tell you this. You can do it. Believe me, if I learned how to do it, you can learn how to do it, and you can master this, and you can be, just go higher than me. Go do more than I've done. Go higher. Just keep going. Don't even stop. Just keep on going. All right? Don't overthink it. Sometimes we overthink things, and when we overthink things, we get to the point where we want to stop. We want to quit. We get frustrated. Y'all, don't do it. Don't overthink it. Believe me, I've been in all these spaces. I overthought it. I wanted to give up. I wanted to quit. I wanted to do all that stuff. But then I came back and was like, if I quit, then nobody would know what I can do. And if I quit, then I won't know what I can do. And if I quit, then I won't be reaching my people who need me, because each and every one of us have somebody that we need to teach to. We need to reach out to. There's some people out there who waiting for what we have that they're going to buy from us. And I know it may be slow right now, but that's okay. There are people who are watching you. They're waiting to see what you do, to see if you quit. Because I guarantee you, it's some people out here watching you who have big top name brands who are waiting to reach out to you if you don't quit. I truly believe that, okay? But if you quit, then what? they can't reach out to you, right? So each and every day we have to be our best. We have to come on here. We have to be consistent. And I know that consistency is the key. Whether if you can just, you know, when you're starting your sublimation, when you're practicing, you practice every day. If you can't practice every day, practice every other day. Take time out. If you have kids or grandkids or whomever that you're raising or whatever you're doing, try to do it at nighttime if you're working the day. If you're working the day, do it at night, vice versa. And if you can only get in 15 to 20 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, do what you have to do, okay? But don't quit. All right, step out on faith and go for it. Make sure you grab my new sublimation ebook. I told you before, go ahead and grab that book. It's going to be a game changer for you, especially for the ones who are beginners and even the ones who are not beginners. Hey, you may look back and be like, hey, I forgot this right here, because this book is loaded with information. So you want to make sure you go and get it, and it will open your eyes to so many questions that you have. And I loaded it up with a lot of things that I have learned. All right, so many questions that I had, and I put it in the book because I know you have the same questions. Make sure you go and check out my description box. Make sure you go grab that sublimation ebook. And while you're there, go ahead and grab that prayer journal, y'all. Yes, that prayer journal is blank pages that you can write on. You can write your thoughts. You can write your visions. You wake up at night, you may have something that you want to write down. Go ahead and grab it. Go ahead and check out my link in the description box when it comes to all these items that I have talked about in part 1 and part 2. And even when you see me do different things here on my channel. All right, so make sure you go ahead and join my free Facebook group community, y'all, where over there we're going to be talking about much more, okay? So you all have an amazing Monday. And don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And y'all, I will see y'all in my next video. You all have an amazing day. Peace.